Hello friends and welcome back to Reverend's Gaming. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Bulldog in yet another episode of Know Your Weapon. But before I really get into talking about this weapon and how it's kind of like punching somebody in the doodleberries, I want to talk to you a little bit about my G930 wireless headset. Now, I've pretty much loved this headset, right? Because I have a tendency to get up from the computer with them on my head, and when I had a wired headset, well, I may have broken a few things when I had a wired headset, but I will be going back to a wired headset because this is just crapping out on me all over the place. It just keeps randomly shutting off, sometimes for a couple seconds, sometimes for minutes. I've tried restarting, I've tried unplugging, plugging back. I've tried everything that I could think of to fix it. I've even thrown them across the room. I've slammed them on the floor. I've smacked myself in the head while they're on, the toot-toot against the headphones, trying to fix it. And that hasn't worked. I've smashed them on the table. So I've tried everything I could reasonably think of to do to fix them, and nothing is working. So new headset will be on the way shortly, as soon as I stop procrastinating. Now, back to the Bulldog, which is why we're here. We're looking at this weapon. If you've never seen the movie Bloodsport, stop this video right now, go watch the movie Bloodsport. And when you get to the scene of the large guy that Jean-Claude Van Damme is fighting, and he does the splits, and he punches him in the doodleberries, that's what using this weapon kind of feels like. Yeah, sure you're good at the game, and sure you can beat people up, and no, it's not necessary to hit somebody in the doodleberries, but you know what? You want to win the fight, and you want to win it right now. Not later, right now. So that's what you do, and that's what using this weapon kind of feels like. It's not that you have to because you're not good at the game or anything, it's just, well, everybody wins the fight when you hit somebody in the doodleberries, okay? That's just what happens. You don't get hit there and then go, oh, I'll keep fighting. No, you're done. Game over. You probably won't feel good about yourself for having done it, but you won. Now, let's go ahead and talk about the loadout of this weapon. We're using the Coyote Red Dot sight because it's the best sight. We're using the Green Laser sight because cool points, that's why. And we're using the muzzle brake because what I found with this weapon is it's got recoil. It's got significant amounts of recoil. In fact, I even tested out the heavy barrel. Oh, man, just no, do not do it. Unless you just want to challenge yourself, do not do it. Now, there is an update for Battlefield 4 that's going to change everything, and perhaps we'll go take another look at the Bulldog. Maybe things have changed. But for now, as of this video, no heavy barrel for what you're seeing here. Otherwise, the muzzle just flies up like a horse kicking you in the face. And also, suppression has a major effect on this weapon in terms of kicking up. I tried the compensator, I've tried the muzzle brake, I went back and forth, even the flash hider, and I just kind of settled upon this for controlling the upward kick of the recoil there. Just seems to be the most effective, but you can probably get it with the compensator and not notice a huge difference. It's more of a personal preference. And for the underbarrel, I'm using the angled grip again because I like my first few shots to be as accurate as possible. And with that, let's talk about how we really want to be using this weapon to maximize its effectiveness, what our playstyle should be, what kind of a level of aggressiveness basically do we want to have in terms of, do you want to be front of the pack, back of the pack, middle of the pack? Are you going to be the guy that's getting in there, that's taking the flags, that's killing everything that's in front of you, or do you want to play more of a supportive role? And with this weapon, I feel very strongly that you want to be the front of the pack. You definitely want to be getting all up in the other guy's business, and I'm usually typically a pretty defensive player. I like to slowly work my way up through things and play it a little bit more safe. You end up generally better off that way, staying alive for a little bit longer and getting more kills and helping your team out more that way. Well, this gun really rewards you for getting in there and getting things done because of the high damage output. You do want to be aware of your ammo use because you will burn through the bullets pretty quickly, and you do have a small magazine. Fortunately, it does only take a few bullets to kill somebody, so you do get, it balances out in those terms, and hopefully you'll be able to find some candy because you've got to have that candy if you're going to be staying alive with this. But if you are playing super aggressive and you're going to probably die more often, but don't be surprised at all if you're getting 4 or 5 kills before you're even taken out. And if you're getting that, then ammo consumption really isn't going to be a huge deal because you're still helping out your team more than you're not. as always, you want to be playing with your team. If you're the only one that's being really aggressive and you kill 3 or 4 people, but then you die and every one of those people gets revived and your team is nowhere near to pick up the slack, but you haven't really actually accomplished anything other than making yourself look good. And if that's what you're playing for, is just yourself, then by all means do that. But if you're playing to win the game, then it's definitely better off to work with your team and say, hey, squad, why don't you get off your lazy butts, stop being snipers or bipod LMG pros, and get up here and help me actually accomplish something. Now, again, this comes down to how do you want to play the game? If you want to be a bipod LMG pro, you go ahead and be a bipod LMG pro and get in an appropriate squad of bipod LMG pros. Otherwise, get yourself into a squad that's going to make things happen. Typically, what I like to do in a game is I will go to squads that have medics, because medics tend to be the more aggressive players, the more team-oriented players, because they're there to revive people and drop med packs. So I like playing with other medics because they tend to be more aggressive. Well, then find those guys, and if not, probably the next best thing is to look at the scoreboard and see who's up there and find a squad with those people and join that squad, because odds are that squad is making things happen in the game and you want to be part of that. And even players that aren't very good by themselves, I've found, can be tremendously effective when you put them with people that are working together. Most of the encounters are against 1 or 2 other players, but even really good players typically don't survive when they run into a full squad, because it's just an odds game. When there's that many people fighting against you, you're probably not going to make it. And when you have that many people on your side, you're probably going to get revived. You're probably going to get ammo. And so those things are good. Those are helpful. You'll capture flags faster and all that. So work together as a team. And on that note, that's pretty much all I have for you. Focus on your 2 to 3 round bursts with this weapon, because it's not the most accurate in the world. If you're getting suppressed, it's going to fly around everywhere, so you want to stay in cover. Be super aggressive. The closer you are, the longer you can hold down the trigger. The hip fire, not the worst thing in the world, but definitely not the greatest. All right, guys. So that's what I have for you. Get out there, shoot somebody in the face, and God bless.